Are you ready?
You ready? I'm ready. Oh my goodness. Okay. I don't know where to start.
Hey guys, welcome back here. Joe again from Their World Aquatics. Another video. This time we're going to touch down on kind of a unique topic here. This is water flow and water management. And this is for more like, layout and design of a filtration system for all your supply and return lines, and where you put the T's and 90s maybe within a system, and how you incorporate them. You can actually get tripped up here and might not be maximizing your system. So
Follow my lead and do what I do, okay?
the test here that we're going to do is down here in the barrel, about a 50 gallon barrel. I've got a 2,500 gallons per hour pump. We're going to pump that water down this 1-inch line. We're going to step it up to 2-inch. And here you can see I've got a standard T. Well, actually not a standard. It's got the sweep in it. But then it continues down and goes to the 90. So just by looking at this design right here, I guess one would probably say when I turn that motor on that because of the path of least resistance, this 90 should probably take the brunt of the water flow. And this 30-gallon tank, we're going to call this tank number 1, is probably going to get the most amount of water, the quickest. And tank number 2, the other 30-gallon tank, with this T right here, it should take some, but it's not going to be even. So we're going to show you that results. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to take that 90 off, and we're going to put on another sweep T, but we're going to put a cap on the end, kind of a dead end. So you would think that when this gets installed, maybe the theories in the gallons per hour would change. Well, I tell you what, I was actually surprised by the results myself.
I know you playing.
So let's do the first test. And this is only with the 2 tanks. And I think what we're going to show you is I'm going to put on the 3rd and the 4th T so you can see the progression in all 4 tanks. So let's start it off with the first one with just the 2 on the end. Let's turn on that motor and see what the results are. As you can see, nothing's coming out of the second pipe. All the water is coming out that 90, 90, and into tank number 1. And look at this. There's a T. And there's not even a single drop.
Stop lying.
I don't lie.
Tell the truth.
I'm telling the truth.
So that's interesting. All right, the motor is off. And look at that, we're about 3/4 of the way full. I mean, that literally took about 20 seconds. And there's nothing going on right there. All right, so now we're going to modify this. We're going to take the 90 off. And we're going to put this on. And let's see what the results are then. All right, guys. So now we've changed over to the T with the sweep. And they got the end cap on it. So now you can see chamber 1's empty. We're all set back up. And now let's see what the results of this one are. Some of you might say you're going to see a big difference. Watch what happens. Motor's on. So with the cap on the end, taking the blunt force of it, you still have 99, if not 100% of the water still dropping into the first 30-gallon tank, and nothing in chamber 2. And there's the T. So everything is going right past this T right here. That is not good water management and water flow.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
To be honest with you, I did not think the results would have been like that. I would have thought that with this dead end right here, that obviously it would have at least been somewhat equal between the two T's. As you can see, that is not the case. So what's the moral of that story? The 90 didn't work right here. It took it all. The T with the sweep in it, it too took it all, even with the dead end there. Nothing coming out here. So now, what happens when you put on a standard T like that? Now this is 1.5 inch setup as opposed to 2. It doesn't really matter. They did not have the 2-inch solid T's at Home Depot like these sweep 2-inch T's. So we're just going to use the 1.5 inch on this next test, but they're solids. So let's go ahead and set up for test number 3. All right, so now we're set up for the third test. Don't mind my crude setup here. We're just trying to prove a point here. All right, so now we're at 1.5 inch, 4 solid T's, meaning no sweep, just like that. I got the cap on the end. So now I guess the question will be, what are the results going to be on this particular test? So with that, we turn on the water. Well, as you can see, tank number 1 is still getting the majority of the water. 2's getting a little bit. Very little on chamber 3. And nothing on tank 4. So we would have to have valve control way down there on the very first one if you wanted to have even flow. You'd have to have something here or here. You'd have to choke this one back to get more over here. You'd have to choke this one back to get more over here. All right, guys, one more thing before we wrap this up here. Obviously, I would use the T's that have the sweep on them. You know, with this, it creates less resistance. That water flows around here real nicely. It doesn't matter if you have 1, 2, or 20 of these things. This is probably the way to go. And even with the dead end, you saw the results. There's not much of a change, but I always, for some reason, I always put the dead end over there. Maybe so I can always add on later in time. But go with the sweep. But what it really comes down to is valve control and the style of the valve. As you guys know, there's 2 different styles of valves. You got the ball valve and you got the Spears gate valves. Unfortunately, these are a little bit more expensive, but they're really designed for water management, water flow, the control of that water, where a ball valve is really fully open or fully closed. You're not really supposed to be, you know, water management and control of the water with a ball valve.
Yeah, that's the same way I feel. That's what I've been trying to tell everybody.
So, unfortunately, like I said, these are kind of expensive, but they are the way to go. So, Spears gate valves and the placement of the valve, and use the proper T. Till then, we're out of here. All right, guys, what we're doing right now is we're setting up for drilling a hole in this overflow box. This is on the back of the tank for the coast-to-coast filtration system, but when they built this tank originally, you can see they've only got the 2 lines going in, but there's really not an emergency overflow. So I've got a set of crosshairs way up inside there. I don't know if you can see it or not. and we're going to knock in a 2-inch hole and put in a bulkhead. Got the drill, right angle drill already set up, and with that we're going to knock out the hole, and what you're going to see in time is you're going to see another 90 come out the top, going to go left, down, probably come across the front of the catwalk here, and then it's going to drop down inside the 120-gallon sump, and that'll be for the emergency overflow on the aquarium itself. And then obviously if the sump were to fill, we've already got this hole put in right here, and now this will redirect its way over to the house drain on the far side.
And you know this, man.
All right, let's knock out this hole. So one of the things I like to do, guys, on a larger holes, like in this case it's a 2-inch hole saw, and this is every bit of 7/8 thick, I like to cool down the hole saw because this definitely gets hot. That was one tough hole. File that, clean it up. Whew, got it. All right, guys, we got the hole drilled. I threw the bulkhead in real quick, and this thing fought me pretty good. That acrylic is 1 inch thick. Look at that right there. So we got it. That took almost an hour. Why the heck that took so long, I don't know, but we got through. So the 2-inch bulkhead is in. What you're probably going to see here real soon is I'm going to throw a 90 on this, and this will obviously go to the left, go down, and head for the main sump. So this will be the emergency overflow, and we're going to touch down on the coast to coast here, and the different styles of systems that are out there. All right, guys, so now we've got kind of another problem. As you saw before, I drilled this bulkhead right here, 2-inch, and this is going to be for the emergency overflow coming from that coast to coast. So obviously we're going to put a 90 here, and this pipe will head for the sump. So what I was thinking I was going to bring this down right next to the 3-inch. And originally what I was going to do, kind of put this pipe here just for a quick example, is I was going to run a pipe down the side of the catwalk. But one of the problems I'm noticing obviously is when I put on the 2-hole strap like that, this does not properly fit.
Because it ain't gonna work.
I mean, ideally what I'd like to see is something like this, but obviously the 2x4 can't accept it, and putting it like that would look pretty cheesy looking. So, and then actually I'm standing back, I'm looking at it going, well, I don't think I'd like it in the first place if that pipe was coming down the front face of that 2x4 and then dropping into the sump. So now that brings me back over to here. So when we originally did this build out of the 2 3-inch return lines, you know, this really wasn't a thought. And now, as we are many weeks and months down the road, I guess what I'm getting at is I kind of wish that these were not this far apart. So fortunately, I got to go backwards here a little bit. So after looking at this and drinking probably 3 cups of coffee and scratching my head, I think what we're going to do, as much as this is going to hurt, I'm going to cut this pipe right here, and we're going to put a coupling in it, and I'm going to draw this 90 back to the right so it actually comes down closer to this one. And by doing that, I now can take this pipe, and now it's going to line up where this one's at, and now all 3 pipes will be underneath the catwalk.
This is right. It can't get no righter.
So, got to go backwards here a little bit, but I think in the end that will look better, you know, better professionally built. It was something I didn't catch in the beginning, but you know, it is what it is. That's layout design and as building. So we're going to go ahead and cut that now, and hopefully here before the night is out, this looks a lot better.